And we're back. The old coot here, coming back at you with another exciting video talking about the Piezano Pizza Maker. Is that the right terminology? But I guess the video prior to this one kind of applies to any kind of pizza that you're making. Anyways, here's our pizza that the dough that I kind of rolled out, right? You saw the videos prior to this one. You saw me go through this process. I have my toppings on. I have my sauce on. Very light sauce, right? People tend to over sauce their pizza and it just turns into a soggy mess. This way I'm going to get a nice crisp, thin Naples style pizza. If you want to see how thin we are, basically I rolled out my dough to I would say about 1/8 of an inch. And then it's slowly been rising as time has been going on. So that's about how thin it was when I started to roll it out. And slowly it's been rising up to about 1/4 of an inch or so. But we're going to get a nice, thin Naples style pizza here. Anyways, we're ready to drop this pizza. So what I want to do is before I take my pizza to the Piezano, what I want to make sure is I've got good slidage action. So what I want to do is I just want to do kind of one of these, see what kind of, make sure we shake and we shimmy. I did put some semolina down on the peels themselves to kind of help with when you don't dip your finger in the sauce, but I kind of put some semolina down just so that that would help with ball bearings, so that it would slide off a little bit easier. So let's go ahead and do this. This is the first time doing this on this particular one. This has been heating up. Wow, that is hot. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to just take a little bit of semolina, right? Just a pinch or so, and just gently kind of sprinkle just on the stone itself. And you're gonna get instantaneous fuming like that, because basically that cornmeal or the semolina is basically burning, and that's what's helping to season that stone. When you do this, it is crucial that you do not get any moisture on that. So make sure your hands are dry, that they're completely dried off as much as possible. If water gets on the stone at this point, it will crack, it will explode. Warning, danger, Will Robinson. You kind of get a sense of what I'm trying to get into there. So that blackening is actually what's helping the stone to season. That's a good thing. Anyways, let's go ahead and grab this sucker. I think we're ready to drop it in there. And if you remember from the other video just before this one, I've got one peel kind of going up, right? I've got the other peel kind of going down. So they basically fit together exactly like that. That's crucial. That way you get a good, even separation. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go, this pizza is going to cook in less than about 6 minutes. I believe it's like 4 or 5 minutes. So what I want to do is I want to kind of center my two peels, and then just go ahead and drop. And perfect. It did exactly, you can nudge it like this if you have to, but it did exactly what I wanted it to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close my lid and talk to you for about 4 or 5 minutes while we let this thing do its thing. So right now it's registering at 500 degrees. Hopefully you can all see that. There we go. It's registering at 500 degrees, even though I have my knobs set to full blast to 800. And as this thing is cooking, one of the great features is you can actually see it while it's cooking. If you saw in the video prior to this one, something that's crucial is to go ahead and take something like this and roll over your dough to help to minimize those huge bubbles that might form in the middle of the pizza. Or you could just take a fork and just kind of fork it. But that way you get kind of this beautiful risen crust, but the center part stays relatively low. I mean, it'll still rise. The dough will still rise in the oven, but you're trying to avoid those big bubbles. And the reason why is because big bubbles in there would touch the heating element. You would create another mess, another disaster. Then it would burn and smoke and blah, 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 and whatever. So anyways, the pizza's been in there now, I would say a little bit less than a minute or about a minute or so. It's kind of hard to see my timer while this is all going. But anyways, what I'm looking for is you can start to see the rising of the dough right there on the crust. And exactly the way that I had planned this, there's just enough sauce on the dough itself to kind of keep the main part of the dough flat, as well as poking those holes in. But at the same time, look at that beautiful crust is rising, and this is going pretty quick. So in the meantime, while this is cooking, right, this should be done in about 4 or 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes the most. In the meantime, what's important is get your delivery right spot set. So I'm just going to use a plate here, or you could use some kind of wooden cutting board. Let me pause for a second. And I'm back. Okay, a little switcheroo. So what I did was, you could, after you pick up your pizza with the peels that are provided with the pizza, What you really want to do, the ideal situation is, you got to remember, hot pizza, what you really want to do, the ideal situation is to drop your pizza onto a wooden surface, something that you're not going to crack, right? Hot pizza, cold stone equals broken countertop. So avoid putting it directly on the countertop, and actually avoid putting it onto a dish right away. If you can, just put it onto like some kind of wooden cutting board. So what I'm going to do is, another cool feature about the Piezano is, see these side handles here? What you can do is gently, right? This is cool to the touch. This is cool to the touch. Make sure you know where you're grabbing. What you can do is you can actually rotate. Let's see if it'll do it. See if it'll work with me. I think because this is the first time doing it, it's not going to do it. But what you wanted to do is you wanted to basically rotate it. So let me lift the lid here real quick. You know, for being a good pizza cooker from the top and the bottom, my pizza's looking great so far. So I think because this is the first time using it, it's not really moving the way I want it to move. But hopefully when it does, oh, here we go. We can pick up and rotate. There we go. There we go. So basically pick up and rotate just so that I'm cooking. See that heating element? That way the heating element is hitting a different part of the pizza. So we're about halfway done. Believe it or not, we're about halfway done. So what I'm going to do is close the lid again. Let this go for about another maybe 2 minutes or so. What also helps when you're rotating is those suction feet, right? Those suction cup feet. So that way your pizza oven stays planted while you're moving around, while you're picking stuff up and moving stuff and whatever. But what's crucial is don't touch the outside. The outside, like especially with bare fingers, the lid, anything else like that is going to be hot. It's going to be 500 degrees. So just keep that in mind. We're now at like 600 degrees here. We're doing pretty good. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for some darkening of the edges of the crust. And then that's how I know when the pizza's done. But honestly, I've been talking to you this whole time. For being, you know, a small little thing that's about the size. Look at the Hamilton Beach, right? That's the Hamilton Beach toaster oven in the back. Look at the pizza, or the Piezano. It's not much bigger than like a toaster oven left to right. And also height wise, look at that. It's not even as tall as like a regular toaster oven. So for doing something very specific, like if you wanted to make a grilled cheese sandwich on this thing or whatever, like a baked cheese sandwich, I think it would be great at that too. Anyways, look at that beautiful crust. Oh, that's looking so good right now. I think we're at, I can't exactly see my timer, but I think we're almost there. I would say maybe another 60 seconds or so, and this pizza is going to be done. If you notice, there's little wafts of steam coming up. That's actually a good thing. Wafts of steam, usually in my case, like when you smell the pizza, which I'm starting to get now, you're almost done, and we are almost there. Oh my God, this is here. This is almost here. So like I said, have a wooden cutting board or another wooden surface ready. If you don't have that, what I would do is just lay down some towels, right? Like some of these good towels, lay down some towels and then put your pizza on the peel down and just let it sit for a minute before you start cutting it and doing whatever. But try to avoid putting that hot pizza onto, a cold surface, especially if it's tile or stone or similar. The stone will crack. Anyways, I think we are there. We are starting to get a little bit of burnage. Let me just check it one more time. Yep, we are there. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this one off. And got a little bit of burning here, which isn't too bad. But, you know, for the first time using this thing. So again, I'm going to come at it like this, right? This way, just so when I go to separate, it'll be a lot easier. But look at what that semolina did. See, that semolina helped me to just do one of these and just do like a little transfer. So there you go. I'm actually done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second. And I'm back. Okay, so what's going on here now is I just want to let the pizza sit for about, I would say maybe like 60 seconds or so, maybe a minute or so, just so that it can kind of reconstitute itself. Then what I'll do is I'll come back in and maybe put some of this like quattro formaggio on there, right? You can see the kind of different cheeses that are in there. And then if I wanted to put some basil on, I could do that as well. But honestly, for cooking a pizza in less than 6 minutes, I would say this thing is as honest as, you know, the marketing can be. The temperatures, you know, I'm going to play around with that a little bit, try to avoid some of this burnage here. Also, if you wanted, just a quick tip is if you wanted to get more of the bubbles around the edges. What you could do is before you put the pizza onto the stone, what you could do is lightly, even just with your pinky, just take some of the sauce and just run the sauce around the edge, but try to leave like about a half an inch around the edge so that the sauce, right, the wet sauce never touches the stone. It's a delicate balance. It's a delicate balance that you're gonna have to play around with, but you do run the risk of cracking, breaking, or your stone exploding. So just be careful. That's why I didn't do it in this video, and I probably won't do it at least for a while until I get used to like how the Piezano cooks and everything else. But honestly, I'm quite happy with the results. I mean, like I said, I just got a little bit of burnage here, but for the most part, look at how beautiful that crust is. Look at how much the pizza rose, right? So we went from 1/8 of an inch being rolled out to about 1/4 of an inch when I put the pizza in there. And then we got, I would say, about like 3/4 of an inch of rise out of this side anyways of the pizza. But this looks pretty good to me. I'm going to enjoy this. Anyways, links are down below in the description, also in the comments section. If you caught any of the movie references or other references that I quoted today in this video or the other videos, go ahead and comment down below. I'm the Old Coot, and I'll catch you on the next exciting video.